Hello.
Oh my god, it's working.
We're on a podcast. This is crazy.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, wait. You can hear me. I'm just being dumb. Hang on, my headphone. There we go. Oh, so professional.
We're in. We started.
We're in.
Woo!
Wow. This is going to be really funny to look back on in 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Very sorry for that introduction.
I guess this is where we say our names.
Yeah, well, welcome to Witchy Weirdos. We're not 100% sure what this is going to be yet, but we have loads of fun, spooky stuff to talk about. We are two best pals. We've been friends for what feels like 84 years.
Yeah. We are not 84.
And we're not. In spirit, maybe.
Oh, yeah, definitely in spirit. We are 84-year-olds.
Exactly. So I am 84-year-old Tiffany.
And I am 84-year-old Hannah.
And we are professionals, and no one can tell us otherwise. So I think today we're just going to talk a little bit about who we are, what we believe, and any spooky stories we have as individuals.
Which is plenty.
Oh yeah, way too many. I've sat writing a list and I have little prompts as a little teaser. One of the prompts is flying song.
Oh my god. I feel like I don't know this story, so that's going to be hilarious.
I'm not sure if you do actually. It happened when I was at uni, and it was something.
Well, I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. So, Han, I am obsessed with what your idea of spirituality is and the things you believe in. Do you want to talk about it a little bit? I'm literally obsessed with hearing it.
Let's go for it. My weird little definition of spirituality.
Yeah.
So for me, I very much believe that when we die, we become the stars. And if you've ever heard the Kesha song Spaceship, you will know exactly what I am talking about.
I love it.
So I've always had this connection to the stars. I feel very safe when I can see them. There's always been this weird, magical kind of, I guess, tingle that I felt towards the stars. And then as I've grown older, I've just kind of come into this mindset that that's where we are when all's said and done on Earth. There's, I don't know science. I can't go into the sciencey thing, but we can't, what is it? That atoms can't be destroyed or created. So
it is the first law of thermodynamics.
There we go. One of us knows science.
Energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
So our energy has to go somewhere, and why should that not be the stars, in my opinion?
Oh, Hannah,
so
I love it.
I'm a big believer in energies. I think that all things spooky comes from energies, and that's kind of what creates the spookiness that we see on the day-to-day.
I love it. I truly love it. It makes me so happy when you talk about it.
It's taken a while to get to this point to have this idea, but I'm liking it. It makes me feel very comforted and very happy.
Yeah. What was that process like? You said it took a long time.
Oh my god.
Was it just figuring out what that meant, or figuring out specifically what made you feel what?
I think it's just I didn't want there to be nothing afterwards, and I'm not a religious person, and I never have been, so for me I didn't know what there was afterwards, and that was quite scary. But actually the more life experience I've got, the more I've kind of come to this understanding that there's got to be more out there, and these energies, the stuff that we've seen and experienced, there's no explanation for that except for there has to be energies from other people in the past sharing it with us.
I'm with you. I really like it.
Nice and calming for our first episode before we get into all the haunts and spooks.
Exactly. But seriously, I really like it. I think for me, I'm kind of along a similar vein. I just did not have the same journey as you there at all.
Let's go into this.
Well, so for me, I'm a massive nerd, right? You guys just need to know this off the bat. I'm a massive loser, and I'm okay with that. I love maths. I love science. I I fucking love physics. Sorry, I don't know if this is even a podcast where we're going to swear
I
yet,
guess you've
but I
just
just did, and
established
it was
that,
about
so there we
physics.
go.
So, but for me, I was never very religious, and I think because of the atmosphere I grew up in, I never allowed space in my brain to like consider those kind of things. Everything was always about like, I need to focus because I need to get to this goal so I can achieve this thing and get out of this place. So I think I never allowed myself actual time to sit and think, what do I think on a grander scale about like
What comes
life?
after my A
I was just
levels?
like, I need to get out of this. Literally. I mean, all that time crying in the toilets, I'll have to tell you guys about that sometime as well.
That's going to be a traumatic episode.
But,
You're going to need to like
oh
have
my
your alcohol
God.
ready for that bad boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna need proper pre-drinks before that episode. Some real trauma. But yeah, it wasn't actually until I started losing people in my life, and I had a very desperate moment one time where I decided to pray,
God forbid.
and yeah, and it didn't help. Spoiler alert. But after that, I had to speak at a funeral, and I spent ages trying to not just find comfort for me, but find like comfort for other people, but also in like a very hard logical way, in like this is science, like, and because my mind, like, I need that to feel comfortable, and I really do believe that a lot of paranormal things, like, it's a science that we just don't yet understand. I think it is about energy as well, and so I think like the going back to the whole like the first law of thermodynamics for me, when I read that, I was, oh, energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transferred. So I literally said that at the funeral. I was like, every single laugh and every single terrible joke, like everything, it's all energy, and it literally makes up the fabric of what's around you. So by that logic, you can never lose somebody, because they're always there in a different form, even if that is energy. And that kind of is how I see the paranormal as well.
It's just so comforting, isn't it?
And it is. It's a really weird thing to like switch your mind to. But after I did, I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm
This
good.
works.
And my annoying energy is going to linger when I'm gone too. God forbid who has to be around that.
We're going to plan this all out, where our energy is going to go and who we're going to freak.
Oh my God. Brilliant idea, Hannah. Brilliant. I love that. I love that so much. But yeah, that's my logical standpoint on it. When it comes to things like demons and stuff that we'll probably cover eventually on this, and look at like different theories of what people think they are. I go back and forth between like, is this an entirely separate type of energy, or is this just an energy of someone bad, or is this from an entirely different realm? It's something I definitely want to do some more research on and talk about. It's just very interesting, all of
and
this
there's just
stuff.
so much out there and so much to explore.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole world of people that have lived and died and left their annoying energy for us to figure out.
Realistically, this is just a podcast exploring annoying energies.
Oh,
maybe that's what we should have called it.
I'm updating our description. Yeah. I love it so much. Okay,
right,
so
next step,
go on,
I
Hannah.
guess,
Next
is
step.
to talk about all things spooky that has come into our lives.
I know. Do you have any stories from like your childhood? What's like your earliest?
So I don't have
memory?
any like childhood paranormal stuff. I think because my family were always such atheists, I was never taught to believe in anything like this. It was always, ghosts don't exist, they're scary, you don't need them in your life. Like, I was just told they didn't exist. So I don't actually have any kind of young memories of the paranormal. My like first experience with the paranormal was when I was in university. So my first kind of experience, so I started in second year of uni, kind of getting into the whole spiritual shabam with like yoga classes and meditating and that kind of area of energy control. And I think because I started opening myself up to that, I started allowing other stuff to come in as well. So I guess my first experience isn't particularly mind-blowing at all, which I guess is the reality of the paranormal, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I have one called Flying Socks, so don't worry.
That's still more interesting than this.
No, go
So
on.
my house at university, there were two of us that were quite into the whole spiritual thing and coming to an understanding. And the first kind of thing that happened is things would happen, like our letterbox would open on its own, and
Ew.
like cupboards would open, stuff like that. And all of that, you know, you can explain away. It can be things like the wind. That's all fair and good. But I think the thing that was probably oddest for me is that I had those like fake candles that you'd get where you'd turn a light on and they'd flicker. And I had one of those set up on my desk at uni, and I'd left it turned off. It was on my desk, and I'd gone out probably to cry at uni. And then, realistically, that's probably what I was doing.
Oh, what a mood.
And then I'd opened my door back up, and my door was locked. Like, I'd locked my room door, so I know no one was in there. And I'd come back from this, and my fake candle was in the middle of my floor, and it was turned on.
Oh, that gave
So
me
that was like my
chills.
first little thing where I was like, okay, that's a little bit unexplainable. And then around this time, I was also getting into tarot cards. And like, at first, I just had the tarot cards because I believed if I wanted to know something, the cards would just kind of like prompt me that. I'd read the card and I'd interpret what I needed to interpret from it. And I still think to an extent that is what tarot cards do. But I do think there's a lot more behind it now than I did then. And so
Yeah.
once all of this stuff had started happening, and it had happened through my first year of uni, just like little bits here and there. And like we have some paranormal experiences together that occurred during that time period.
Yeah.
But so little things were happening in that house. And then one of my roommates moved out, and we had a boy move in instead. And the stuff would never happen when he was in the house. And he ended up, like, he didn't go to uni anymore. He kind of dropped out after probably like a month or two. So he was in the house a lot for a couple of months, and we had nothing happening. And then one night he had gone, I don't know where he'd gone, but he wasn't there one night. And I had gone to a yoga class, and I'd come back. And my housemate had been saying to me that like weird stuff was happening. The letterbox had started moving again, stuff like that. And we were like, well, this is crazy. Like, maybe she doesn't, like, maybe it's a feminine energy and they aren't so keen on us having a boy in this house, because it used to be that stuff would happen all the time. So we thought, let's just have a, you know, we were getting all excited about this and thought, let's just get the tarot cards out and see if, you know, anything happens. And I couldn't tell you for the life of me what card we pulled out. But all I remember is we asked, is there something here that doesn't like the energy now that this boy is living in our house? And the card we pulled out was a card that was very specific about negative masculine energy. And instantly we were like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy.
Oh, I have chills.
So I think that was like one of the first times I truly believed in like it being an energy more than anything, because, you know, like there's 52 cards or whatever it is in a deck. Like, what are the chances of you pulling out a card that's that specific? Like, so yeah, they were my first little experiences. And now I think it must be your turn, my friend.
Oh, so a lot of the stories from when I was really young, I don't remember, but my mum is so adamant that these happened, and like I believe her. My mum, like my family's quite different to yours in this regard. My mum is very into the paranormal. She's very spiritual. She goes to a spiritualist church. She has tarot cards.
She hates the tarot cards though, doesn't she?
And she hates the tarot cards now, yeah. And when I asked her why, she said the creepiest thing known to man. She was like, when I use them, it gets too crowded in
That's
here.
so spooky.
And I was like, I was like, mother, stop. But so this is a tiny aside, but I once used her tarot cards. I found them, and for some reason I was just drawn to them, and I did a reading. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did it. And I asked loads of questions. I asked about my mum's current partner and how that was going to end up. I asked about my sister, who was having some difficulties with her mental health at the time. I asked about loads of things, just randomly, and I got so many answers. And to this day, all of it
so
is
good,
correct.
so creepy.
Yeah. And my mum, I thought she was going to beat me with a belt when I told her I'd used her tarot cards. She was so mad, but not even, she was like, one, they won't work for me anymore. I was like, I cleared the energy. I had no idea what I was talking about at the time. I was like, yeah, you cleared the energy. I probably did not.
So if they're still not working,
honestly,
we know why.
Yeah, it's me. But she was just mad because she was like, it's dangerous. And I was like, I don't necessarily agree with her in that respect. I think some things are very dangerous if you're not careful. You need to be very aware of what you're inviting in. But I don't think inherently spirits are dangerous. But anyway, that was an
We went off down the
aside.
rabbit hole.
Oh God,
It's going to
sorry,
happen a
this is
lot,
going to happen.
realistically.
Yeah. So from my youngest paranormal stories, like I said, my mum is very adamant that these happened. So at the time, we lived in Tadley. We weren't in Thatcham yet, which is where Hannah and I are from. Um, and basically, we lived in this. I remember, well, the house probably wasn't as big as I remember it, but I remember it being really big. And I had a bedroom, my twin brother had a bedroom, and my other siblings hadn't been born yet. And apparently, I would wake up in the morning and I would be so angry. And I would say to my mum, that woman in the corner of the room is annoying. All she
Oh
does
my
is stare
God.
at me all night. And apparently there was no shred of fear in me. I was just an annoyed kid. I was just like, why is this woman staring at me?
That is so chilling. And I like that you just thought it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
annoying.
Oh yeah, I can imagine, like, because I'm quite sassy now, but as a kid, I can imagine me just being like,
Get out of
"Woman, what do you
here.
want? Leave." But yeah, so it was a very specific old woman. Apparently, I used to talk about her all the time. And there have actually been other times in my life when I've thought I've seen her. So I don't know if that's
Oh,
spirit
maybe.
guide type thing. It's something I'll have to explore another time. But yeah, so that was one thing. And like I said, I have a twin brother. And so my mum would put the two of us to bed, and then she would be downstairs with my dad, and she would swear blind that she would hear kids playing all across the landing, and she would come upstairs, and we would be
Oh,
asleep. And at first she thought we were just messing with her, and honestly, like we would have, but I really don't think so, because she would literally be like, they were snoring. Like we were just out for the count. And as soon as she would go back downstairs, she would
oh my
hear
God, so
playing.
spooky.
Um, and she swears that house. She has so many stories, but she swears that
We'll
house
just have
was
to bring her in
super,
as a
super
guest
haunted.
one day.
Um, I think she would love that. We should definitely do that, because she has so many stories from her life, and I'd love to hear her talking about, like, her tarot reading days and what she goes to the spiritualist church for, and all kinds of stuff like that. But that was kind of where it started for me. And then I had small but insignificant things that I would never really consider paranormal when I was growing up, like, that just weren't interesting. But it wasn't really until I went to uni that I had so much stuff
Oh,
happen. What has just happened to my voice?
it's clearly
Can you
like
hear
does
that?
not want you to share these. That or it does not want people to go to
No.
uni. Take
Um,
it which way you wish.
yeah, I mean, well, uni is very
We are not
stressful,
here to
so
recommend.
maybe, yeah, we can give you honest accounts of how much we've
I
cried
swear
in the
most of it's
last few
been during
years.
this last like week or two of isolation.
Oh, don't even get me started. I haven't left my creepy ass
That's a
house,
whole other
so.
type of scary.
Oh, oh, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where it started for me. I can go into some of the stuff from uni and then some of the current stuff, but I don't want to monopolize the
Well,
conversation with my
why
witch
don't we
life.
get some of your uni experiences, and then we can talk about kind of our
Mm-hmm.
joint experiences.
Oh, do you remember the
Oh my god, that is
when we
like
did
the
the tarot
creepiest thing.
reading?
And then I have one
Okay,
other experience, and
we'll
I
talk about
reckon
that.
that should keep us
Oh,
nice and juicy for
okay.
today. Is juicy a good
Oh,
word
I
to use
love it.
there?
I love it. Um,
Okay, we'll roll
it
with
works. Let's
juicy.
just roll with it. It's out there now. um, okay, so first year of uni, I'm in halls. Um, I've got a flat of like 7 people. Don't know any of them. Very standard. Um, and I started to get
As
to
you
know the
do, not
security
your
guard.
housemates.
I, not my housemates, no, but the security guard. And to be honest, that was mainly because I studied computer science,
Oh
and there are
yeah.
some weirdos on computer science, let me tell you. Yeah, personal protection was
You've got to get
important.
those security guards on your side.
But exactly. So I was getting to know him, and of course, like we were talking, and we were talking about games or something, and then I was like, "Oh, so how long have you worked here?" And he was like, "Oh, I've worked here for like 10 years." And I was like, "Wow, like tell me some good stories. Like, do you patrol at night and stuff? Like, is there anything spooky?" And he was like, "Wow,
Love
let me
that.
tell
You
you."
know it's going to be good when those are the
And
words
so,
said.
yes, and so this is partly a sad, well, it's a sad story, but basically there was
You've made it
why
awkward.
am I laughing now? There was I'm queen of that. I am actually president of that company. So he was telling me loads of stories of just like small things like hearing noises or like shadows, stuff like that. He was like, but there's one flat. I won't tell you what flat it is. And bear in mind, he didn't know what flat I was in either. So
Keep it from
we're just,
being the chances that it's
plans.
yours.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So he wouldn't tell me what flat it was, but he said a few years ago, and this happens quite a lot at university, unfortunately. There was a young girl who moved in, and after a few weeks,
That's
she
so
committed
sad.
suicide. And it was, I know, and you know, it happens at uni. People go and they get really lonely, and you never know. You never know what's going
Yeah.
on in someone's
Is this
mind.
where we're
So
supposed
check
to
on
be
your
like,
friends.
contact someone? There are numbers you can reach.
Yeah, well, there are, and always check on your friends. Always, be kind to people. Um, but yeah, I don't know the specifics of what happened with this girl, but she did unfortunately end up committing suicide. And like I said, I don't know what flat I
Oh,
was in, but she hanged herself.
you can already tell it's going to
Um,
be creepy when the story
yeah,
starts with that.
yeah. So he said the whole flat obviously had to leave, and that flat was unoccupied for I think like 2 years. And then they finally reopened that flat, they let people move in. And then he said after like a week,
Oh
people
my god.
refused to live in that flat. Um, and the person that was living in the room, the specific room, um, the girl that was in there said that she would get horrendous nightmares um, and couldn't breathe. She'd wake
Oh,
up in the
that's
middle of the
so
night and just could
spooky.
not breathe. Um, yeah, I have chills just like talking about it. And so I was like, well, that is terrifying, obviously. I was like, but I mean, I came here for a spooky story, so what did I get? So then, I was like, that was a fun conversation in some ways. And then went back to my flat, got on with my life. And then I started noticing stuff in that flat. It was super weird. I would get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and there was like a really long corridor. And every single time I would walk back from the bathroom to my room, I had to walk all the way down the corridor. And I swear I would
Oh my
hear
god.
like running after me. Um, and remember this because whatever that was, I think
Oh
I'm
no.
have found me again. Um, yeah, recently. But yeah, I would hear like running behind me. You know, like when someone's running really hard, and like if you're in like your flat, for example, and you can feel like
I
where
don't
they
think
are, like
anyone
the
has
ground
ever
is like
like
shaking
chased me
from
in
where
my
they
in a
literally
flat
are.
before. Like, I don't think I've got an experience of that.
I think So the thing is, when it first happened, I was like,
the
am I
stress has
losing
got
my
to me.
mind? I was like, I must just be really tired. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a logical thing
Oh
at
yeah.
uni. Like, you lose your damn mind. So that's kind of what I thought. But that was kind of the extent of it in my first year flat. It got weird. It got a lot weirder, and like it had the same similar thing. Like, I would hear noises, I would hear footsteps, and like running and stuff. And then there was a point where I was in the flat alone. I'd had surgery. I had to recover in that flat, and everyone else had gone home for Easter.
Oh my
And
God.
so I just heard it the whole time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take some more of my medication and go to sleep.
Pretend it's not
Peace
there. All will
out.
be
I'm
fine.
okay. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did. I was in no
You're just
fighting
like, come
state,
at
you
me. If
see.
you're there, just
Oh,
come at me.
it's like, just honestly, I'm down. Just do you know what? Fine. But yeah, that was kind of it. I moved out of there and I thought, you know what? Everything's good. Everything's
That's so
fine.
odd.
It was just that
That
flat.
whole thing as well about like the girl waking up with
Yeah,
nightmares and not being able to breathe when the person had like hung themselves, like that
yeah.
is so terrifying to me.
Hmm. I know. I know. When he told me, I
Like
was
that's
like, "Are you lying
intense.
to me? Because this is terrifying." But he was a really nice guy, and
No,
I could think of no reason why he would have lied. And he looked terrified when
and
he
you
was
don't make
telling me.
stuff
He was
up
like,
like
"I
that, do
refuse
you
to go
either?
over there now." No, exactly. So yeah, that was that for my first flat. And then I moved into a house for my second year,
Oh
and
my God. Okay,
that's where the flying
hit us
sock
with this
story
flying
is.
sock, though. We have to know.
So I've hyped this up too much.
A sock flew.
It does what it says on the tin. And so I was being a drama queen. I was being a princess. Who'd have thought? Um, but what did I do? I was like sat on the sofa, and the living room was really small. I was watching the TV. I had a bunch of laundry that I
Story of
did
life.
not want to fold. Like, I refused to. Literally, I was like, nope. And I just dumped it all in my room, which was right next to the living room. So the door to my bedroom was open, which walked like straight onto the living room. So I dumped all of this stuff in my bedroom. It'd been in there for like 30 minutes. And I was just like, nope, I'm gonna sit here and watch TV. I don't care. And literally, as soon as that thought went through my head,
I'm
guess
guessing
what
it
flew
might
out of the
be a
bedroom
sock,
door?
perhaps.
A sock. A sock, indeed. A little trainer sock. And bearing in mind, I was in the house alone. The windows were not open. And this sock was literally thrown. It had so much airtime to it. Like, it was properly Kobe'd. Like, it was out there.
Oh.
And I just looked at it and I was like, no.
Go
I
away,
just still was
Satan.
literally
Not
like,
today.
no. Yeah, literally. And I've had a few small things like that happen. Like, even if this, like, even really recently, it was really random. I had to get up because I had an early meeting, and my alarm went off, and I was like, oh no, I like completely forgot I had the meeting, and I turned my alarm off, and my lamp turned on and off again, like it flickered on and off, like
Do you want to know
someone was saying
something
like
really
get up.
creepy?
Um,
Just as you were
it
telling
was
that story, the way, like, my
yeah,
sound, you flickered. Like, not even joking. I don't know
shut up,
if you'll be able to hear it, like, when we
shut
go back and listen to it,
up.
but seriously, it just flickered. So, you know,
I
technical
hope so.
difficulties, we apologise, but how creepy, am I right?
Ew, ew, that's terrifying. Okay, that's well. I mean,
I
that
mean,
makes
you've
sense for this
basically got
house
like a
because this
devil
place is
basement going on.
creepy. And the devil basement. We've got our little story
Oh my God, I keep forgetting that
about the
happened in
tarot
this
reading
house.
and stuff as well.
I just
Yeah,
went
this is
home,
where I
like,
still
enjoy.
live.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you
God.
completely forgot. Nope, I did not. um, but yeah, there was a bunch of stuff that happened there. There was like a weird, like I was alone for a few weeks, and then there was a weird like face. I had like a glass pane on my door, and there was a weird face mark as if someone had pressed their face against the glass, like to the side,
Oh,
to
creepy.
try and peek into my room.
That's scary if that's a
Um,
human.
that
Like,
was really
that's probably
creepy.
worse if it's an actual human. Yeah, you did. He
I
was
did have
odd.
a stalker at the time, so there is that possibility. Yeah. Oh my
Oh my
goodness,
God.
that is a whole other
Okay,
story.
you're gonna
He's
have to
in
talk about
prison
that
now.
one day.
Yeah,
I'll put a mark on that one.
another time. Another time. Yeah. Told you, computer science is weird. Yeah, and then I also
Oh,
had some
let's
comforting
hear some
stories in
comfort.
that place as well. Yeah, there was one that it like warms me to this day. And it was just after my dad had passed away. So we'd turned off the machine that day, and it was a Friday. And so if any of you know, you can't get the death certificate like late on a Friday. You have to wait until the Monday. So we couldn't do anything all weekend. We couldn't get any of the process going. We couldn't register his death, anything like that. So basically, it was a whole weekend
Oh,
where everyone just had to like sit with their
that's
feelings,
kind of
which is good.
sad, like
Um,
hard, isn't it?
but it was awful. Yeah. hmm So basically, we had nothing to do. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go back to Nottingham, and I'm going to have the weekend to just be by myself. Because that's kind of how I deal with things. I needed some time to myself. I needed to think. I needed to get into a mode where I could help other people. Um, so I went back to Nottingham, and I had the worst luck on the way back. So I was on my train, it was delayed. We had to stop for like an hour. And then by the time I'd actually gotten to like my connecting bit, the final train
Oh
that I
my
had to
God.
get to go to Nottingham had left. So I had to get a taxi for an hour. And I remember getting in this taxi, and I was so exhausted that I literally had the thought in my head of, what the fuck?
What just happened?
Oh my
No?
God. Did you hear that squeak? I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen and that I've gone insane. I heard a squeak that sounded like
Oh
when you
yeah.
open a window, you know, like the handle,
Oh my God.
and one of them's up,
I love that.
and the curtain is moving,
Oh my
like the
God.
blind little bit is moving. Okay, I'm just
Freaky.
going to turn around and pretend. I'm going to continue my story. Um, yeah, so I remember getting in this taxi, and you know how it's dangerous to just
Yeah.
like get in a taxi and just not know where you're going. Not You have to be sensible. But I remember getting this taxi, and I was so
Yeah.
exhausted. And
Clearly
obviously,
the
I'd had
worst one you
literally
could
the worst
possibly have
day.
had.
And I literally, and I was falling asleep. And I remember saying to myself, "Do you know what? If he kidnaps me, he kidnaps me because I'm tired. I am going to sleep." I was like, I remember just purely just like giving up. I was like, I don't care. And then I got
No
back into
kidnapping.
Nottingham, thankfully safe. Got no kidnapping, got an Uber back to my house. And by the time I got in and got into bed, it was like 2 in the morning. And I remember, you
Yeah.
know, when you're just so exhausted that you feel sick. Um, I had the worst migraine, and it was definitely just stress induced. And it felt like I laid down, and it felt
Oh
like there was
God.
like scratching on the inside of my head, and I was so tired that I was hallucinating. So I was laying there, and I remember I was in so much pain that I was trying to call for my boyfriend at the time, um, and who was upstairs. And basically, I was picking up my phone, or I thought I was picking up my phone and trying to call, but then I'd like snap out of it and realized I hadn't moved
Oh,
at
kind of
all.
like
It's so
sleep
strange to
paralysis.
explain, but that's what kept happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
except I thought I was moving, but I wasn't. Very strange. And then I remember
Ooh.
distinctly hearing my bedroom door open, um, and hearing someone walk in, and feeling someone sit on the bed beside
Oh.
me and stroke my hair. And then I fell straight to sleep. Like the pain disappeared, I fell straight to sleep. Um, and that was really, really nice. And then I woke up in the morning, and I went upstairs to my boyfriend, and I was like, why didn't you like get in bed with me? Like, why did like I woke up and you weren't in my bed? Like, why did you come downstairs and then go back upstairs, you weirdo? What was that about? Um, and he was like, I didn't come downstairs. He was like, I didn't even know you
Yeah,
came
excuse me.
in. And I was like, well, one, you're a bad boyfriend then. Yeah, but he did not stay up for me,
It's a
so
good
that's why
it's a
we're not
good
together now.
like
It's not, but
point.
it's part of it. Yeah, exactly. But he was like, no, I swear I didn't. And I was like, wow, okay, so who was that? Um, and I guess it's open for interpretation. I have a few really, really wonderful people who are unfortunately not
Yeah.
with us anymore, who would have looked after me. So it could have been anyone. But I
Oh,
really do
that's
believe
so
someone was like,
sweet.
she needs some help right now. she needs some comfort. Yeah. And for me, that is like, whenever I think about it, it really warms me and it makes me feel like protected and looked after. Like, even though I was on my own and it was a
And it's
very
so
horrible
nice
day,
as well, like to
someone was
have that
like, I've got
happen,
you.
like after losing your dad, and know that, you know, that could happen again and that he could be back again, kind of thing. You know, even if it wasn't his energy,
yeah.
it kind of gives you proof that, you know, he isn't completely gone.
Precisely, yeah. And that was, I think, what fueled my speech at his funeral as well, because that's when I started looking into energy, and I was like, do you know what? I've heard this before. I've heard this law of physics before. What is this? So yeah, that, I think that was kind of like the biggest thing that happened in that house. And then, yeah, it's really nice. And then in my final year place, nothing really happened. That was my studio flat, you remember? Yeah.
Well, unless like
what happened in that
this
flat?
was just you doing it and I've interpreted this as a ghost and it was actually you. But you know, that's the case, let me know. But it was after we'd gone to, was it Wollerton Hill? Wollerton Hall, not Hill. Blur.
Wollerton Hall, yeah.
And we'd done that and we were a bit like spiritually exhausted from that place. And I think we'll talk about that in another video.
Yeah.
Video? Not a video. Podcast. But and we'd watched like we'd watched some creepy videos. We'd kind of freaked ourselves out a bit and then decided to put Twilight on because we were so overwhelmed. And we'd fallen asleep, and I think we'd fallen asleep like there was a storm. I remember it being stormy, like on top of everything, and like your flat was at the top, wasn't it? So it was really like,
yeah,
the windows were bashing, and it was just like a total horror movie night. And I just remember waking up in the middle of the night to hearing your Xbox controller, like the joystick moving. Yeah. And so, and then
my God, you're so right. I do
Xbox
remember
turned
that.
itself on, didn't it? Because like I was hearing the joysticks move for ages, and I didn't really like. I was trying to ignore it, and then it turned on. And I remember you sat up to turn it back off, and we just looked at each other like, "What is happening?"
Oh my God!
And then like the whole night, I could hear those joysticks moving.
Oh, see. Do you know what? You are so right. And the reason that I didn't clock it, I have on my list here Xbox turning on and off, but that was something that just happened. Like,
oh my God,
I'd never heard the joysticks until you were there.
Oh my God,
something was
showing
so
off.
Scary. Something was really showing off when you were there.
And I think because we'd gone like exploring with that intention that day, it was kind of like, it was super exciting, but I was also like, I'm tired, it is storming, I have to get on a coach tomorrow, can we please just not do this right now?
Yeah,
you had your chance.
Exactly. That's the thing. I think, to be honest, I used to game a lot with my dad.
Well, we had talked about it,
absolutely
so he was probably just been like, lol.
He would have, yeah. He was such a troll. Like, he absolutely would have done that.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, for sure.
Excuse me,
he would have been like, why are you not giving me attention? Yeah.
So that happened in your studio.
But yeah. Yeah, that happened in my studio. And then I moved to where I am now. And things have changed. Yeah. Things are different here. Like, before, the stories were harmless and funny, random.
Although it is a really nice house. Like, I feel like we should state that.
It is such a nice house. It's very old, so it's above a post office, and that post office, this whole building, has been here like for
as long as we have.
Years. Maybe longer. Exactly, yeah. It's just been renovated. Like, it's gorgeous. Like, the ceilings are really high. It's very like, it's neutrally decorated. It's very open. It's really nice, and like, it's just perfect. Like, there's a cute pub next door. There's a bar on the other side. There's a really cute school opposite. You always see cute little kids running around. There's a shop. It's just perfect. It's perfect. When I get my dog, there's a dog park down the road as well. So I'm not moving. And whoever is here can deal with me being here and just leave, because I am not leaving. This is my place. But yeah, so when I first moved in, my little brother was with me. He was staying with me for a few months. And the funny thing about this place, apart from when you were here, Hannah,
And
nothing
then we
creepy
just
ever
screwed
happens
that bad
unless
boy
you're
up.
on your own. Yeah, we did,
Yeah,
but
we
we were
did go all
asking
out with
for it,
that.
to be fair. We were literally asking for it. Exactly. So when I first moved in, my little brother and I were just like unpacking stuff, buying furniture, building it, drinking a lot of beer because it's boring to build furniture. And we
Ooh.
discovered my creepy basement. So the basement, it spans under
No,
not just
I
my
didn't
flat,
realise
but the flat
that.
next door and the
Oh my
post
God.
office. It is massive. It's huge, Hannah. It's absolutely massive. I've got a video that I'll send you later. But it's so creepy. We went down there and there were like bags
Oh,
of clothes, there were empty bottles, all kinds of just weird stuff. And I refused to go down there. I looked down there and I was like, something's telling me I am not supposed to walk down there, so I'm not going to walk down there. But my little brother gives approximately zero point 0.2 shits. So he just went for it and he filmed his way down, and
that's
it's huge, Hannah.
insane.
It's literally like an entire bungalow, but like a massive bungalow.
I
And
was
if
going to
it
say, they should just
was
do that as another
renovated, it
flat.
would be gorgeous. Like it would be, I know,
Yeah.
and or like it would be a brilliant workspace or something. Like if you wanted to have like tools and stuff, which I would love, but that place is creepy, so I'm not doing it. But yeah, basically we discovered it and we were like, that's really weird. We took videos, figured it out, and then we closed the
Done with
door,
this.
locked it, and we were like, nope, not going down there. Done with this, yeah. But then I would go to work in the day, and Shane, my little brother, would stay here, and he would send me videos of
Oh,
like banging, footsteps, noises, all kinds of stuff from that basement. And he would also send me
oh my God.
videos of the light being turned on and off. Yeah, and the light was on the outside of the room. So he would like come down and he would turn it off. He'd be like, no, it's off. I'm
Something
not going down
wants you
there.
in that
He would come back
basement.
downstairs and it would be on. Or he would literally see it.
Oh God.
It's like, come see me, like give me attention. So obviously I was like, no. So I just lock it and I don't go down there unless I need to grab my meter readings and but luckily the box is like right near the door, so I don't have to go down there. Whew, if it was deeper down, I'd be like, nope, I'm good.
I'll just pay you whatever you want.
I'm not interested. Yeah. Yeah, just literally I'd be like, just take my money. I don't want to go down there. And so that was going on, and I'd never experienced it because I was at work all day and then I would come home and Shane would be here. So, you know,
It just
it's
didn't
not that I didn't
happen.
believe him. He literally sent me proof. But it just didn't happen, yeah, until Shane moved back home. So Shane moved back home, and then I started hearing all kinds of stuff. Pretty much the exact same as what Shane had heard, but it was always
Oh.
quite confined to the basement. So I was always just like, whenever I'd walk past, whenever I'd hear something, I'd audibly be like, you're not welcome here. I'm sorry, but you have to leave. I understand this was your space, but now it's mine, and I would really appreciate it if you would leave. And slowly over time, I've
Oh
stopped
my
hearing
God,
stuff in
of
that
course.
basement, but other stuff has started happening. But that's not in this timeline. But so after that all
Oh
stopped,
yeah.
it was calm for a while, and then Hannah came to visit. Um, yeah, and we had a good time. We went and did a bunch of ghost tours and stuff. And we'll tell you all about it in another episode.
Oh yeah.
Had some pretty spooky things happen, some spooky feelings. Yeah. But one thing we did when Hannah was here was basically I'd had a guy move in with me. We'll have to
They're a
do an
whole
episode on
other
crappy
spooky
guys at some point.
experience.
Because
Oh
whew,
yeah. Give me a
oh
ghost.
yeah, they're so much scarier than ghosts. And yeah, literally. And this guy was something else. He was Ted Bundy reincarnated. Do you remember that time when
Oh
you were
my
like, he's
God, yeah,
like
I'm
Ted
really like,
Bundy, and
what
then we
the
turned
actual
around in the shop and he
hell?
picked up the book on Ted Bundy?
We were stood outside like the works,
Yeah.
like, oh, we need to
Like,
run,
what?
we need to run
I'm in
now.
danger.
Fire
You
burning
know that meme?
everywhere.
It's like, I'm in danger. Yeah, literally. But yeah, this guy was trouble through and through. He was a sociopath and manipulator, but like,
Yeah,
very charming. He was just the typical narcissist, but like there was something about
yeah.
him that was just gut-wrenching in a way. And so it sounds like you're just like, well, why would you live with him? But it happened so slowly, like all the manipulation. It's a whole other story. But basically, my pal Hannah came to visit. We had a really good time, and then he was
What you've
out,
got to
and we
do.
decided to do a tarot reading. Do you, oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
Do you
It
want to
was
take it from
the
here,
most
Hannah? Because
unexplainable
I
experience,
can't.
I
I
think.
can't.
Like, oh my God, it was just so.
Hmm.
We screamed, didn't we, when it happened?
It felt
So
heavy.
we decided to do some tarot readings. And at
Hmm.
first, we're not really like
Hmm.
doing them all too seriously. We're just asking some general questions like you do, getting into the zone. And
Hmm.
then we decide that we should
Hmm.
ask for some advice about this guy that Tiff was seeing. So I don't even remember what the question was we asked, but I think
Hmm.
we were asking something like, is he
It was,
like a good
yeah,
guy or something
something
like that?
like,
And
yeah,
we spread the deck out for Tiff to choose the card that she was going to read.
yeah.
And as we did it, the deck was out, it was all laid out, and we both see a card move.
Hmm.
Like completely on its own. It was not
Oh my
near
God.
either of us. Like,
I,
yeah,
I remember trying to ignore it. I remember
yeah,
just
because you
being
saw it
like,
from like the
no,
corner
and
of
then
your
you
eye,
were
didn't
like,
you? Whereas
I
I was
saw
like
it move, and
looking
I was like,
directly at it, so I saw it completely move. And like
yeah,
how we'd spread the cards is we were
yeah.
both sat like opposite each other. The cards were in between us, and then this card was like at towards
Hmm.
the end of the deck, so it wasn't even like it couldn't have been any of our breaths. It couldn't have been like either of us moving that did this. And this card came from like underneath other
Hmm.
cards and pushed itself up so that it was sticking out. And we
Yeah.
just lost our minds. And then,
Oh.
so we look at it, we're both just looking at each other, we're in
Hmm.
shock. And I'm like, Tiff, you've got to turn it over. Like, it wants to be seen. And she turns this card over, and it is the freaking devil card. like,
Literally. I
Like, oh my
have
God.
chills again.
I think we both
But
screamed. And then he came in, didn't he? Like 2 minutes later. And we were like freaking out.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
Honestly, like,
Literally,
that
I
is my
couldn't be,
biggest
I'm still
ever
in shock.
example of the
Like, I couldn't
paranormal
believe that it
occurring
happened.
because there is no explanation for that. It completely moved by itself.
Hmm.
And like, even just any card moving by itself would have been
Yeah,
terrifying. But the fact it was that card, oh my God.
yeah. Hmm. Exactly. And
We
since
screwed it
then,
up. I don't know any
that's
of
when
this
all this
stuff yet, I
weird
don't
stuff had
think.
started happening as well. Yeah. No, I don't think you, I think I sent you a picture the other day. Um, but I'll get to that in a second. So one thing that started happening that,
You
felt a
do.
bit too familiar was I have a very long corridor again. I do. It leads to my living room through like, and there's my kitchen and stuff on the other side. Um, and I was sat on my sofa, and I
Oh my
remember this very
God.
well, and I heard running. I heard the running, and I heard someone run right up to
Yeah.
me. Like, like when it's on the floor and you can tell, like I said, when you can tell when someone is. And I felt the air
Oh
like
God.
push towards me as if someone had run up to me and then stopped very suddenly. And it, like, when like something happens, and I was saying to myself, like, did I just make that up? But my whole body was in chills,
Yeah.
and like, I was like, my body's having this reaction, so clearly something just happened. It's not my neighbours because I felt that right next to me.
That's giving me such
And so that
heebie-jeebies.
started happening, and I was like, that sounds familiar. I don't like that. And then I started waking up. So I have an Alexa
Is she
downstairs.
joining in?
Oops, she's listening now.
Alexa, take it away.
And she's joining. She's going to tell her side of the story. Oh my God, I'm so going to program her to do that. But basically, I was in my bedroom, which is
She
up
being the
another floor from
Alexa,
this
not the
room
ghost.
that she's in. Um, and she being the Alexa, not the ghost, yeah. Should have clarified. But I started hearing this
Oh
music,
God.
this very dark, very aggressive
No. Oh yeah,
music.
you did say me
And
this.
I hear it in the middle of the night, and I was like, what is this? Yeah, and I look on my phone, um, and I look at what's being played on my Alexa, and it's this like the the
Oh
the
God.
album cover is just like this satanic ram head, um, and it was just this. It was such
No.
a. The song was like, "Do you want to die, bro?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" So I turned it off, and I was like, "That's what." I was like, "What the hell?" Um, and periodically over that night, it kept being played. When I woke up in the morning, I'd unplugged everything, and I looked on my history, and basically, like, this whole playlist of
God.
like random satanic songs were being played. Um, and I'm in tech, okay? My accounts are locked down. Like, that's not a challenge, but my accounts are locked down. Um, and there is like, unless someone was on my network, they could not have played that on my Alexa. And
That's
I
what
live
makes me.
alone, and
Plus, it
I
was
never
during
have people
isolation.
over. I'm a social hermit, and I love it that way. Um, yeah, it was during isolation, yes. So I looked at this and I was like, that's so weird. And I looked up one of the artists, there was
Oh
this
my
one
God.
song that kept being
Six.
played, and the song had been posted like 6 days before and had like, yeah, exactly. And it had
Oh my
like
God.
9 views
That's so
or
creepy.
something. Like no one knew this song existed. It was so weird. Um, and then the
Oh
day after
yeah.
that, there was no
This is
music
the
in the
picture you
night,
sent
but
me.
I woke up with scratches all over me. Yeah. Um, I woke up with scratches like all down my sides, on my back, down my thighs, everywhere. And I have short nails. I got rid of my nails and filed them all down nice and soft
Well,
when
didn't
we
you
went
literally
into
do it the day
isolation
before
because I
while you were
was
having
like,
like a
I'm not
Netflix
going to be able to
party?
get these done. So, yep, exactly. So it was for my birthday. We were having a Netflix
Oh, it's so worth
party.
it.
If you haven't checked out Netflix Party, do it. It's amazing. So worth it. But I would literally, while we were watching that, I took my nails off and I was filing them. I was watching a movie with you girls, and it was like very clear, like I could not have done this. I don't know. It's like, oh, but you just did your nails. Like maybe they were sharp. I promise you, they were not,
No, they
and
were
they are
all
not
on your
now.
back and stuff, weren't they?
And where the scratches were, I could not have reached that by myself. Yeah. Um, so I
Yeah.
literally woke up and I was like, what the hell is this? Sent loads of pictures to Hannah. Well, I think it's
I
like one
think some of
picture to
them
you
would have been
actually. I took loads
inappropriate
of
to send.
pictures. But it's just like, what? Yes, I agree. So I was like, the one I sent Hannah was like, I had to show her them, but like they were all over me and I couldn't wear something and show her them.
It
So I
was
was just
basically an
covering myself like,
unexpected
oh
spooky
my
nude.
God, look at this. Um, yeah, I was a spooky. Sorry, Hannah. But yeah, that happened.
Oh my God.
Um,
This had to happen
and
when you
now I keep
literally can't
hearing all the
leave your
running in
house.
the hallway and stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, it's probably like the
Exactly,
negative
but I
energy
think
that's
that's
going on
why
in
it's
our world right
happening.
now probably isn't helping that.
Mm, yeah. Exactly. So I've been doing what I did before. I've been being very vocal, and trying to be really positive, spending time with my
Oh
friends,
God. Yeah, you weren't
But
well the other
I've
day,
also
were
been getting
you?
like crazy headaches and feeling like randomly really sick and
It's
stuff.
so weird.
Exactly. And then I woke up and like I feel great now.
Yeah, this
Super
is an
weird.
ongoing ghost
So I
story.
will keep you guys updated on this situation,
Yeah,
but
fingers crossed it's just a
yeah,
a
hopefully
nice little
there
pleasant
won't be
end.
much to update you on. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mm.
don't know if I'd have the
It does
guts to
feel
talk
weird to
about
be
something that was
talking about it
ongoing, to be
while
fair.
I'm here. Um, I think if I
Yeah,
don't,
at least
I
you're
feel
like
like
showing
that's
that you know what it
a
is and
form of
you're
like weakness in a way.
like you're
So
basically turning it into entertainment. Like you aren't
yeah,
taking it too seriously, so it can't hurt you.
yeah. hmm That's the thing. If it's
No.
something that's feeding off negative energy, I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
Also, this sounds really weird, but I got a bunch of new houseplants, and
Well, plants are
since then,
supposed
it
to be
has not been
so
as
good for
bad.
like
My
positive energy,
houseplants
aren't
have
they?
been
Like green
thriving,
witches are supposed to have
and
such amazing houses that are like so
mm,
secure and safe and positive.
really,
I love me some houseplants.
wow. I'm gonna get some more
You got
then.
some really nice ones.
yeah, but I got a few.
I love that.
Yeah, I've named them all as well. So they have lives here. Um, but yeah,
That's just some
that's what's been
spooky
going
stuff.
on.
Like,
I feel
I
like
only
I've
have
very
one
much
more story,
monopolized
and then
this
I'm like used up.
conversation.
Okay, my last story
Oh,
takes place
go
when I went
on,
on a solo trip to
tell
Edinburgh.
me.
Yeah. So obviously, like, Edinburgh is
Oh my God,
super
I know this
haunted,
one. Tell
super
me again.
spooky.
Oh my God,
We are going to go there and do a full,
we're
like,
gonna go there.
tour,
We'll
do it
tell
all
you guys some
properly, because
stories.
I was by myself. I was not doing spooky stuff. Like, that was not the plan. And I've looked up the street that I was staying on since, and I can't find anything. But if you have stayed there and had an experience, I would love to know. So I stayed in the Premier Inn Hub on Edinburgh Rose Street. So my story. It was quite like a old building that I was staying in, and I was staying in a room by myself. It was quite high up in this building, and like this was my first time. Like I've always had housemates, I've or lived at home. Like I've never had a real alone experience. And so I'd gone to Edinburgh just to explore. And I think it was on my first night or my second night, one of the two. I'd gone to bed and like all was well. I didn't feel anything negative in this place. Like I didn't feel scared about being alone. But in the middle of the night, I was fast asleep and I felt someone getting into bed beside me, which is like I can still, every time I think about it, I feel like I can just feel that
Oh,
energy next to me. Like, oh, it's so creepy. And I could just feel
I'm
someone
gonna
getting
throw up.
into bed next to me. And oddly, there was like a dog as well. I could feel a dog on my chest and the person getting into bed next to me. And so, like, I
Wow,
was freaking out. I was like trying to tell myself it's just a
that's so
dream.
specific.
But like, this energy wouldn't go away, it wouldn't stop. And so I flung my arm, like, full karate style. And as I did that, I like sat up and it just went. The energy, everything I was feeling just disappeared completely. I was so freaked out. I turned all the lights on and like because I think, there can be negative energies, but they can't hurt me so much. I kind of just decided I was going to try and go back to sleep. I think I put some ASMR on because there was no way I was doing that sleep alone. And I kept the
Nice.
lights on and I think I went back to sleep. It was probably for a couple of hours, I think I went back to sleep for. And then at about 5:30 in the morning, the TV turned itself on. And so I tried to explain this away and I thought it must just be that someone's like pre-programmed a setting to come on because it went onto the news channel. And like some places do that with radios and stuff. Like you set it that at 6 o'clock it comes on and it plays the news. So I kind of explained that away. And after the night I just had, like, I was not going
Yeah.
back to sleep. I was so done with that. Like, it was horrendous. And I just thought, we'll just see if it happens again tomorrow morning. And then the rest of the holiday, it did not come on at all by itself. So it was not pre-programmed. It did it completely on its own accord. And it was just so creepy. Like, I just can feel that person beside me all the time. And it just makes me feel so, like, uncomfortable. And, like, Edinburgh is so old and so haunted that it just gives me so many chills to think, like, what that energy was. Ugh. It was just such a creepy experience. But at the same time, like, the rest of my holiday didn't feel so bad. Like, I thought that would scar me. I wouldn't sleep the rest of the holiday. And actually, like, I slept like a baby. So I don't really, like, know how I got away with that. Do I?
Oh my, so I think you might have one more
Oh my
story, Hannah.
God. I'd
So
forgotten.
you went on holiday with our girlfriends from home.
Oh my God,
When you
yeah.
when you
I
said
know, and I messaged you, like,
holiday,
you're not
for
going to
some
believe
reason
the
that
stuff
popped into
going
my head because
on.
I wasn't there. But I remember, I was at work and you were like, you don't have to respond to this right
Oh
now,
my
but
God, I should
and you
probably have
sent me
found that
everything.
text so I
And
could,
I
like,
remember
give the
reading it and
exact
like wanting
details.
to throw up.
But it was creepy. It was something else. So Tiff
Just
was supposed to come on this holiday.
yeah.
We couldn't find a time that worked. It was all
Mm-hmm.
very hard to work it out. But basically, me and
Yeah.
a couple of our friends had
No.
gone to Cyprus for a girls' week, and we stayed in the villa that a friend's family owned, I think, or it was something to do with that. And so we'd stayed in this villa, and
Mm-hmm.
like it was a beautiful villa, it was lovely, and nothing happened for a couple of days. It was all good. And then one day, I think we'd gone down to the beach. And so we were at the beach for most of the day. And as we walked back from the beach to this villa, the guy who owned the villa was there with his wife outside. And he was like, oh, the security alarm's been going off. Like, we're going to go in and have a look. But it only just, like, it hadn't been on all day. It had been on for like 30 minutes. So, like, obviously, if it had been on all day, he would have been there at the beginning of the day to check that something was going on. So it'd only been on for a little period of time. And so
Yeah.
he'd just got there. They were about to go in and see what was going on. So we all went in together. The guy was really nice, actually. He was being quite cautious about us, like, staying downstairs while he checked everything out in case someone had broken in. So, you know, quite an intense feeling, like our hearts are all going.
Aww.
And he gets upstairs and sees that the bedroom that me and my friend Amy, well, our friend Amy was staying in, had a sliding door to a balcony. And this door was super stiff. It was really hard to undo. I think we'd done it once to put our like swimwear out. And I think that was on like the first day, and we'd stopped bothering after that because it was too hard to get it open and closed. And so it was really stiff, not an easy thing to do. And he'd gone upstairs and that door was completely open. And so, like, obviously we're a bit freaked out. Like, is someone just broken in, like, to take our stuff or whatever? But everything was where it was. Like, nothing had gone missing. Nothing had been disrupted. Like, everything was just exactly how it had been when we'd left. And so it was a bit odd, but the guy was like, well, clearly it's fine. There's no one here. Like, he checked everything. He, like, looked in wardrobes and all that jazz. Like, he did all of that fine. And there was absolutely no explanation for how this door had come open. And it didn't, like, the balcony really was just a balcony. Like, there was no way you could easily climb up to that balcony. Whereas at the front of the villa, there, like, on our friend's room that they were staying in, they had a sliding door as well, but theirs literally had stairs going up to it. So if you were gonna break into this villa, you would literally just walk up the stairs and open that sliding door instead.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely would not go around the back and try and climb up to a balcony that's got no access points and open the stiffest door instead of opening the door that's there that would work, that you'd literally just climb up. Like, it'd be easy as pie. So that was all very creepy, and that had happened. And I think we were all a bit spooked, but not so much on the paranormal sense, but more on the, like, what if someone had broken in and was just waiting to, like, murder us? So it was all a bit creepy, but I think, like, it was all fine. And then we started hearing noises, like taps turning on, hearing footsteps, hearing, like, lights turning on, all sorts. And all of us were hearing this. And all of us were quite on the, like, spiritual sense. Like, we kind of all sort of thought that's what it could be. But it just continued the whole time. And, like, so our friend Amy, who I was staying in the room with, like, she was freaking out one night. Like, she was proper scared because we could hear these footsteps and, like, noises in the bathroom and stuff like that. No. And I remember being like, because I was just like,
and
just,
not like,
you know,
Amy
stay
either.
calm, don't feed into it. Like, you know, just don't worry. Like, we know it's not a person. Like, this was a couple of days after. Like, we knew it wasn't an actual human. So, like, we just had to go to sleep and let it go. But she was so freaked. And, like, I hope she doesn't mind us talking about this. Like, that'd be really bad if she then turned around like, I didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, like, an oddly creepy experience. And it's something, like, I always associate paranormal with, like, old places and creepy British, like, houses and stuff like that. Not, like, a little villa in Cyprus. Like, it was just very odd. And I think the fact that the door had been open, like, then made us think that it could be something not paranormal. And I think that in itself is even more terrifying. So yeah, that was Cyprus.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was so weird.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
Yeah, maybe it would have got
Honestly.
worse.
When you told me, I was like, maybe there's
But
a
I think,
reason
yeah,
that
it
we
was
couldn't
just
find
like
time to
Amy
go
saying something
outside.
made it a lot more real, because I think, like,
Yeah.
when it's just you experiencing something, you can brush it away in a bit, or like
Hmm.
you can identify it once you've done the holiday and you're away from that place or
Yeah.
whatever. But Amy literally being like, I can hear stuff, was like, oh my God, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She
Yeah.
wouldn't have
Knowing
mentioned it
her
if
as
she wasn't
well, and
actually
knowing
scared.
how
Like,
just
she wouldn't have
like
just found it
she just
interesting like
doesn't
we do. She would
like
have,
her mind doesn't. Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, it was creepy.
Hmm. Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh my God.
I know, it's
That
again,
one's
it's because I
mad.
like
I
don't
can't believe you
associate
did
ghosts
either.
with
I can't
like
believe I
a
remembered it and I
tropical
wasn't even
holiday
there.
versus like creepy hotel rooms in Edinburgh. But oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
have we
fair
done
enough.
all our
Fair
spooky
enough.
stories?
Yeah, nice. Wow. I think so. I mean, like there are small ones here and there that I can remember,
Yeah,
but
exactly. We've got
we
a
I
lot
could
of
talk
time.
about this for like once again 84 years. So, yeah. Yeah. So, um
Yeah, and
apologies
hopefully
for,
you've
how
found it a little bit
unprofessional
spooky
this
like we
is,
have.
but this is the first episode. It's
There'll be
gonna,
more structure at some point.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna evolve, it's gonna change.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, we can maybe get like an intro song, or
This is
I could just
so
be here like woo
exciting.
every time. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, we have. It's weird. This is so fun.
Which
Hannah and I don't
sucks.
actually live near each other anymore. Um, we only see each other a few times a year. So this is, yeah, it does suck. But for this year, we plan to go
We're
on loads
definitely
of
like
spooky
can't leave our
trips.
houses, let
But
alone go to haunted
the world's on
locations right
fire.
now.
So
Talk about our
exactly. So
favourite
this is
spooky
what we're going to do
things.
instead. It's a fun way for us to hang out and tell stories and
Oh yeah.
exactly. We have a bunch of random ideas for different episodes, but if for some
And
reason someone has
congratulations.
found this and enjoyed this and made it to this point, if you have any ideas,
You
let
can
us
hear
know.
us again next time as
And
the prize.
congratulations,
You're
you get a
welcome.
prize. I don't know what the prize is. Yep, 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 yep.
Okay, I think we need to leave before they hate us
No, I'm just
all.
closing off now, like, oh, done. Yeah,
I'm
I think so
thinking
too.
weekly.
But
Why the heck not?
I don't know how often we're even gonna do this. I'm thinking weekly because this is fun. Why not? This is
This
very
has been
fun.
fun, my friend.
So yeah, thank you for listening, Hannah. This has
Yes.
been fun.
Now we're just
I'm
chatting.
gonna
We need
call
to
you as
finish
soon
this.
as this recording is done as well.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, yeah, yeah, right.
Stay spooky.
Thank you. I
Yes.
don't know what our sign off is, but like, bye.